from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello, bakers. If it's time to get in bed for bread week, here on Sleep With Me podcast's coverage of the Great British Bake Off, soda bread or sleepy bread? You may be confused. Welcome to Sleep With Me, by the way. It's a podcast that's here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you can fall asleep, to offer some comfort, some companionship, some distraction, something friendly in the deep, dark night. That's all I'm here to offer, and hopefully it takes your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep. It's like a disconnected a person trying to connect to disconnected dots to keep you connected, but barely connected and mostly distracted. It's tough to explain, but I'm here to keep you company. I'm here to offer some comfort in the deep, dark night or some relief. But mostly I do that by being barely amusing, totally tangential. Is that the first time I've ever said that? I'm like totally tangential, dude. Totally. Totes tangential. How come I always think of this branding stuff when like totes tangential? Can somebody remind me about that down the road? I'm like totes tangential. All right, so I'm going to be distracted by that for a long time. Totally tangential? Who says that? Is that like archetypal surfers or the teenage turtles? They don't say totes tangential. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Whatever type of, what is that called? I don't know, it's not slang or jargon. However you formulate your words. I'm Scooter, by the way. Nice to meet you. I got teenage turtles that are teenagers in my head. They're like, yeah, I'm just trying to walk around here. I mean, some turtles may move in a tangential path. I don't know. I'd have to observe more. Here's another note. Observe turtles. 1. Note 2, pay attention. Note 3, observe more, work on paying attention. Okay. Observe more turtles while paying attention. And then, did these turtles move tangentially? Okay. You could expect the results of that in 2020. I don't know, maybe not the 2020s. So I'm glad you're here. If you're new, welcome. This show is clearly very different. I get distracted really quick. So just see how it goes. This is the very, very beginning of the show. What we got coming up support. So paying for the podcast is optional, and it comes out twice a week to put you to sleep. Then a long meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then later on, we'll be talking about the Great British Bake Off. Not even sure what season right now, but it'll probably be in the episode title. So I'm glad you're here. And we get to do this twice a week really because the listeners like you. Not everybody's in a position or has a willingness to do that, but there are people that do that, and I'm really grateful. Like for the people that support the show directly, support the sponsors, or get the word out about the podcast. So I'm really glad you're here, and here's a couple ways we're able to do it for you. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this episode today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix. You've heard me talk about it. I sleep in the Helix at Dusk Lux, right? And I never thought about this, but my Helix is about 7 feet away from me. It's here whenever I record the episodes, but it's also what powers my sleep, enables my good sleep every night. If you listen to these spots, you hear about it. When I'm on the road, I don't sleep well. When I'm traveling, I'm tossing and turning. I'm too hot. The mattresses in hotels or where I'm lucky enough to be a guest, they're either too hard or too soft. And that's what I love about working with Helix, because I'm not kidding. Like, a mattress makes a gigantic difference in your quality of sleep. It's something you could look forward to getting into every night, but only if it fits you and your needs, your sleep preferences, your feel preferences. And that's what Helix figured out. You just take their quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep and you get matched with a mattress that matches your needs. Just like my mattress, the Helix Dusk Luxe, fits mine. I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach. And you get so much choice. You could get the Helix Dusk, you could get the Helix Dusk Luxe, or now they have the Helix Elite collection. You don't have to worry about delivery. It comes straight to your door. So don't take my word for it. Think about your comfort every night. Night after night after night, year after year after year, I've been partnering with Helix. And take that quiz and let me know what you get on it. That quiz is at helixsleep.com/sleep. And right now, go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for 20% off site-wide. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. All right, we're trying this new thing called No Stone Unturned, where I'm going through these testimonials from real listeners who benefit from the show and looking at, hey, I know I benefit from the show. I know it makes my life better, but there was this one thing standing in my way of supporting it directly. So if this is the thing standing in your way, listen up. If you can afford to support the show, it makes your life better. If you rely on the show relies on you. All right, this is from Lori, who said, I decided to support the show because I was using it enough to sleep and it was valuable to me, just like any other thing that would help me get to sleep. I tend to think if something is valuable and useful enough to me, I should support it so it doesn't go away. As a content creator myself, I know most people consume my content for free. I also know without the support of quite a few people, I wouldn't be able to continue to do so. So I get it, and I hope other people do. The biggest obstacle to me for supporting the show was that I only have so much money to spend, and there are many things I'd like to support. However, as you point out, sleep is crucial to our health, our happiness, and without it, it's going to be tough. So I prioritize to Sleep With Me for support. And I empathize with you as a content creator who wants to try to do something useful for the world. So it made me feel like it was the right thing to do by supporting the show because it's something that benefits my life quite a bit. So if you identify with what Lori says, you get a lot out of the podcast. You just want ad-free content. You want you want more stuff. And you want the podcast to be here for you to keep making your life better. And then as a result, you get to help out a lot of other people that can't support the show. But it really comes down to that. That's the only question. Like, are you listening to me? Are you hearing me? Does Sleep With Me make your life better? Do you count on it? Go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks so much. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound or on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your narrators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get Sleep With Me merch, Sleep With Me branded sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. And use Sleep With Me at checkout to get $5 off your order. The only way you can get the Sleep With Me merch editions is sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever is keeping you awake. It could be things on your mind that you're thinking about the past, the present, the future, thinking thoughts, or whatever thoughts. It could be feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally, whether it's related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there. Feelings. I'm having feelings right now, like I got somebody with something going on. And then, when I try to go to bed, those feelings will be there as well. They'll be like, hey, why don't you pay attention to us now? I said, well, I'm trying to make the podcast right now. I'll just let you, I'll feel you. But I can't, I don't want to start concentrating on you, right? Or I don't know, letting the feelings be there is hard too, especially at bedtime when they're making an appearance. I've waited all day to have you feel this. And I said, well, now, remember during the day when I said, let's try to pause? Oh, that wasn't a good time. And you say, okay, well, now's not the best time for me. Oh, really? Because I just wanted you to feel this. Yeah, but not right. Could we do it another? Is there a way we could schedule this? No, scheduling doesn't work. I like to make an appearance. So what do you like, improv feelings? No. I just, I prefer not to schedule it. Okay, so it could be feelings from the past, the present, the future, feelings that are making an appearance. Is this a one-time appearance? No, regular appearance at bedtime. Well, either me or another cat, the whole cast. Sometimes it'll be the whole cast. Sometimes it'll be me. Sometimes it'll be somebody else. Okay, great. Could be physical sensations also. Changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something, getting over something, in the middle of something. You could have guests. You could be traveling. Maybe you work a different schedule, right? I was just listening to some Dolly Parton the other day, and I was thinking I knew him, and I mentioned it before, but there's a lot of people out there like, hey, Dolly, what about me? I work 11 to, I don't know, what's 8 to 7... Plus than that, 11 to 7.5, half 7. And I'd love a song about me. And she says, have you been following? I've done a lot of pretty good stuff. In my heart, I think she would say this, in my heart, I'm singing for everybody. They say, yeah, but I prefer if the song was titled working 11 to 7.5, and then she may say, well, actually, that wasn't, and then somebody else would say, well, I work at 9, half 9 to full, Scoots can't do the math. And she said, well, let me try that. Half 9 to Scoots can't fully do the math. She goes, actually, that's strange. It almost has the right syllables. I don't even know how, she would laugh. I don't even know how that's possible. But she says, I'm working half 9 and Scoots doesn't know the way to do the math how, or something like that. She goes, I could make that work. I'll be appearing instead of your feelings only in your imagination, maybe one day. But whatever it is that's keeping you awake, the only reason I go through some of that stuff or share some of my personal experience is because I'm here to relieve that. And part of relieving it is acknowledging that it's there and that you're not alone with it. And that I'm not dismissing it or acting like it's not there, right? I think in my day-to-day life and a lot of listeners' day-to-day life, people say, well, you're doing it wrong, or why don't you try just doing it this way? Really, that keeps you up, Dolly, your work schedule? Well, not exactly, but why don't you try closing the blinds and the shutter? Why don't you try curtains? And you say, well, there's just it's a lifestyle, man. We say, well, I'd love to work that time because I'd love to work that shift. Well, you should be grateful you work a shift that's not normal. And you see, but so this podcast, I try not to do that, except if I'm doing it in that way, which is just parts of my brain that are always there, easily accessible parts of my brain. But to let you know you're not alone in your struggle with that, and that I'm pretty sure I can identify with some of the feelings or relate to some of what you're feeling. But even if I cannot, the wonder of this show is that across the world, there's people listening right now that can relate to how you feel. And I don't know, this doesn't help everybody, but maybe it'll help you. Like knowing that somewhere on this planet, there's someone that can directly relate to your experience. They're listening to the same podcast you are, and they're thinking of you in a positive way or a welcoming way because they discovered the show, whether it was 6 years ago or 6 months ago or 6 weeks ago. And they said, like, what is this show? What has happened? And then they said, oh, wait a second. Oh, this is like a companion in the deep, dark night, a mild distraction. This really helps. And then they became a regular listener. And then they said, man, if there's somebody out there hurting like I hurt, I hope they find this show. It can help them out like it helped me out. And now you're here. And they're happy you're here. And I'm not kidding. This is true. Now, it is like a digital or pseudo or whatever the heck they say, because, yeah, it's, whatever. But it's still true. And they're feeling good about it right now, right? You're feeling good. Like, yeah. And they hope that one day you get to do that if this show works. But there's no pressure for this podcast to work for you or for you to like it. Just see what happens. But they're glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. And the other reason I make this show, not just because I can relate to not being able to, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, trouble waking up early, all those things, is the fact that you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime where you can get the rest you need so your life is more manageable. That you can get the rest you need so you can be out there flourishing. Like your world will be a better place. It means our world's a better place. That is important as much as whatever those brain bots, I call them, say. Oh, no, that's not my brain bot literally just said, Dolly Parton will never sing about you in a generalized way. It wasn't even referring just to me. So, oh, boy, that's intense. It's true, though. And it's important to point out because that's just something that bubbles up in my brain. And I want you to know if you have that or something like that, you're not alone. But it's also like I can just let it bubble up and go away and say, oh, boy, did you just say that to me? Wow. Where'd that come from? Okay, yeah. And just to be here and present with that and present with whatever it is with you as a friend, as a distraction, say, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to be here rambling and keeping you company. What I do is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So it means I go off topic. I get mixed up. We've seen that already now. My voice is not traditionally soothing. And if you get to this podcast, you might be skeptical or doubtful, before you listen to this part, right? And that's totally fine. Like, that's totally normal to get to this show and be skeptical or doubtful, because why wouldn't you be? I mean, this is a podcast. It's supposed to be a bedtime story. This podcast has been around for a pretty long time. People, may have talked about it or written about it. And you say, that's a reasonable person that's talking about this podcast. They get here, and I don't even remember what the guy was it's like a bouillabaisse or something, They say, don't get me started on bouillabaisse because I could go on about it for hours. But yeah, it is a bit of I don't even, honestly, I'm trying to remember what I was talking about earlier. I can't even remember it. So because it's not that memorable, because I'm only here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff, to be your companion in the deep, dark night. And, but it does take some getting used to. Even regular listeners that support the show, like their hard-earned money, they use it to support the show. A common email I get is like, I couldn't stand you when I first listened to the show. And, then I listened a third time and I said, oh, okay. He's not here to be liked. He's here to be your friend in the deep, dark night. He's not here to be cool. I mean, right? He's here to acknowledge what's happening, to be present, to feel his feelings so he can be here for you, and to kind of let things go. Like, I'm here to, just keep you company and talk to you about nothing, almost nothing. I mean, so you probably got here, expected something reasonable, maybe with some guidance or some calming energy or whatever, and that's okay. And actually, I have like a lot of great stuff listed at sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you for you to check out, because I'm not for everybody. And I still and will always believe you deserve a good night's sleep and something that'll help you out. So that's cool. That's why I have that website set up. It's got other sleep podcasts on there. Some would say my competition or whatever, but it's not. It's like, it's something a little bit different than this show, right? Or audiobooks or whatever. So just see how it goes. And then if it doesn't work, check out sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. Or if you already strongly dislike me, check that out. I mean, it's cool. I've done this long enough to know, like, a lot of stuff's out of my control. My job's to be here and do my best to keep you company and just be myself, which is a little bit different. So most people don't like the show. Tell me more. This is a podcast you just barely listen to, which does take some practice. It's not it could be background noise or like a video or a show on that you're not paying attention to. I mean, it's kind of where I got the idea. Like when I would listen to, like, this was a common thing. I've had a lot of different types of jobs, believe it or not. You believe that? And a lot of times I'd have the radio on, and sometimes it'd be like, I had a lot of jobs where I worked, where I worked on Sundays and stuff, or Saturdays, and I would put on like a sports, or sometimes it was baseball too. Or but whatever, like people would, this happened like multiple times where I had the radio on, I'd be doing some sort of physical labor, but people would come in and they say, what's the score of the game? Who's winning? And I'd be like, what's happening? What? That was just background. Like, I mean, I couldn't explain it to them. I'd say, oh yeah, that team's going good, huh? Doesn't sound like it. Oh yeah, oh boy. Or I'd be like, please say the score so I can be normal. So the show's kind of like that, but a nighttime version of it. So that's that thing. Then what else do we need to know? Shows like that, rambling, doesn't make any sense. Oh, don't barely listen to it. I'm also not here to put you to sleep, which is different as well. Even though this is a sleep podcast and I've been making it since, when it was like the idea of bedtime stories for grownups and stuff like that was new. The fact of the matter is, I'm not here to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep, which is different. I'm here to be your friend in the deep, dark night while you fall asleep. But the thing is, there's no pressure to fall asleep with this show, because I'm going to be here for over an hour. Like, you don't have to worry about it. And there's episode after episode after episode. I don't know, because there's people listening who can't sleep at all, or people who need a break during the day. But I think it's important. I'm here to entertain you whether you're listening to me or not. And so you could just kind of barely listen along. And then whenever you fall asleep, you fall asleep. I'm here, to be your boar friend, your boar bae, your boar sib, your boar bud, your neighbor, your boar bestie, your boar bee, your boars, your boarman, your Boris Borloff, your boar cuz, your boar sib, your boar bruh, your best boar friend forever, whatever word I thought of earlier that now I forgot. I don't even know if it was related to that, but I said, I got to make sure to remember that. It was Totes, it wasn't Totes McGoats or Scoots McGoots. Some longtime listeners call me Scoots McGoots. I'm like, when did I refer? I don't even remember referring to myself as that. I can't even remember what it was. It was like Totes Totally something. Totally Tangential. Oh, Totes Tangent. Old Totes Tangential. If only there, I think there used to be a company that made that kind of stuff, like slippers and gloves. And they like to say, oh, this is the perfect footwear for going perfect footwear for going nowhere. Totes Tangentials. If anybody wants to do a partnership where you do all the work and I get like a bunch of the dough, like, let me know. Totes Tangential. I mean, I just made that part up. So perfect footwear for going nowhere. That pretty much sums up this podcast if it was product. So, okay. Yeah, no pressure to fall asleep. Oh, what else? So podcast takes some getting used to. Most people don't like it. What else? Oh, structure of the show's different. I'm going to try to get through it quick, though, as quick as I can in a slow version. But because I want to meet you where you are. If you're new, you might be like, why is this show structured this way? Now, it is adaptable. So if you become a regular listener, if you just take a few extra steps, you could find a way to adapt it for what your needs are. But most people like listening to this ad-supported version linearly. Like they just let the episode play and their podcast player stops. They have it set to stop at the end of the episode. Then there's people that use a 45-minute timer or a 60-minute timer. So the show's built kind of with that audience in mind and that it can be flexible. That's the beauty of podcasts and podcast apps. So, but everything starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcomed in. That's one of the real important things about the show. Because it's like, I don't even feel welcome in my own bed sometimes alone, like with those parts of me that are coming in and telling me stuff like that. What do they say? Bette Midler will never sing about me. Or, it wasn't Bette Midler, it was Dolly Parton, I guess, but whatever. And you say, well, how am I going to sleep now? And they said, well, I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about the fact that neither one of them is going to write a song about you. And I say, okay, well, actually, it was a song about an imaginary work shift. Okay, yeah, let's have a debate now. What was my point there? Oh, sure. That's why it's important to be greeted right away. So at least you kind of get a sense, oh, okay, I'll check this podcast out. It feels welcoming. Then there's support. So paying for the show is optional. If you prefer something without advertisements, you get that on Sleep With Me Plus. Then there's a long meandering intro separate from the support that's meant to ease you into bedtime. So you could listen as you're getting ready for bed, winding down, drifting off. A small percentage of people fall asleep during the intro, but the show's never been designed that way, right? Because having a wind down routine and getting eased into bedtime is what the podcast is built on. So that's why, otherwise, if it was just meant to put you to sleep, well, would be a different podcast, right? This show, there's no pressure to fall asleep. And that has an intro to ease you into bedtime and to kind of set the mood, right? And having a bedtime routine and winding down is just what's been shown to work. So that's the intro, 15 to 20 minutes long. We're going a little over, I think, here. Then there's support, and then there'll be like about 45 minutes or 50 minutes of me talking about Bake Off. So all told, I'll be here just over an hour to keep you company and take your mind off stuff in the deep, dark night so you could fall asleep, ideally, or have some comfort or a mild distraction. So I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. So do a team of other people, and we really want to help you fall asleep. So thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple ways we get to do it for you twice a week. Thanks. All right, we're trying this new thing called No Stone Unturned, where I'm going through these testimonials from real listeners who benefit from the show and looking at, hey, I know I benefit from the show. I know it makes my life better, but there was this one thing standing in my way of supporting it directly. So if this is the thing standing in your way, listen up. If you can afford to support the show, it makes your life better. If you rely on the show relies on you. All right, this one comes in from Steve from Ohio. I made a decision to support the show with my hard-earned money because it simply helped me. I've tried a lot of different products to sleep and plans, and they didn't work. My biggest obstacle was giving money to something that was free, right? And that's a pretty common thing. Why would I do that? But I tried the 7-day trial, and that helped my decision because I was able to check out everything on Sleep With Me Plus, all the different options. And it feels great to support the show because it's definitely worth keeping it. And Scooter's doing what he does best, leading the podcast. But at first I was skeptical. I really like the Read With Me episodes. And I like the main ad-free podcast without the singing and the ads. So thank you so much, Steve. If you identify what Steve said, support the show back, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And I can be here for you on a regular basis. Thanks. All right, everybody. Scoots here. Welcome to Great British Bake Off, episode 3, collection 8, series unknown. Oh, boy. But yeah, we're starting this episode off. It happens to be Bread Week. And it opens with a shot of Matt and Noel walking hand in hand. And Matt's playing his youthful kid character, which because I'm not a expert on Matt, but where he's talking to Noel like he's Uncle Noel. And he says... it's pretty funny. It's a slow reveal. Says they talk about Bread Week. Then Noel says, let's look in this magic box. And there's an effect like from the movie fiction of paper fiction. And then it's Hollywood Handshake is in there. Paul's Hollywood Handshake. And then Matt tries to shake it, but it's too powerful. Then Paul appears to say, you've been playing with my handshake. Don't do it. It's not for you. Paul smooths his eyebrow out. I thought that was pretty funny too. And then the episode, like the teaser or the preview for the episode starts. It's Bread Week. There's some colorful breads. Prue looking. What are they plating? Okay, I think there's 2 terms for it, but it's like where you make bread look like ropes. Or braids, braiding bread. How come they call it plating bread instead of braiding? Do you plait hair? Maybe you do. I don't even know if that's right. Plait, maybe? You can see it's a brisk day. People have jackets on as they make their way to the tent. There's some talking heads. Nobody likes Bread Week because Paul's a bread expert. And, actually, Laura does. But the idea of making it for Paul is a little bit, Okay, so then they set up, welcome to the tent, 2 beautifully baked soda bread loaves. Now you have to flavor them however you want, 1 sweet, 1 savory, free form, not in a tin. Or Noel goes, free form, like floating in the air, and there should be a butter for each bread. Then Matt does another character where he says, blimey, and everybody laughs, so it must be a familiar character. And then they begin. No slow proof. Soda bread's a raising agent, works immediately. Bicarb Baby. Bicarb Baby. Remember that song, Bicarb Baby? It was, I thought that was an Oasis song, but maybe it was only one of the Oasis brothers. I can't remember if it was Noel or Liam. It was like an obscure one that may have only occurred in my mind, but, anybody else familiar with that one? Bicarb Baby. I'm thinking, no offense to the Gallagher brothers in my mind. Also, there's 3 Gallaghers in my mind, the 2 Gallagher brothers and then Gallagher, the prop comic from that I would see on repeat somewhere. Maybe Laugh. I don't know. I didn't watch Laugh-In. Hee-Haw. I don't know. I don't know how I know Gallagher is either. I guess he was a big deal. Maybe he was on Sesame Street or Electric Company. But Bicarb Baby was an imaginary song made by an imaginary version of one of the Gallagher brothers. I guess cream of tartar or cream of tartar. Ermine says, yeah, I don't know, like what it does, but it does something. An hour and 3/4. Is that what they have? Soda bread, freeform, bicarb, cream of tartar, hour 3/4. Cheese, herbs, nuts. Prue's looking for something different. She says, yeah, everybody, I don't want anybody to do the same. And we've got growth in a loaf. Is that what I put? Growth in a loaf? Is that alliteration? There's another question. Zatar. Sura's going to use that. That's an aromatic. Then Noel points out to Paul he points out to the camera to Paul, an imaginary Paul, like that no one under 40 eats bread. So, Sobra soda, that might be the no buttermilk, Sabrasada. Then they're joking about Mark with a K being Irish, or are you Irish? We see Mark working at his desk. He's got a nice plant. Sausage and stout. Oh, chopped sobrasada sausage. That's a mouthful. Susie sells sobrasada sausage by the seashore. I actually pulled that off. No buttermilk. Paul's like, kind of quizzing him when he says interesting. But he says, yeah, it's buttermilk. It was a nice sunny day. You could see outside the tent. It really looks nice. I wonder what, like the barriers of the tent are if it's totally open. We see Brexel Beach, a bar brith, Brexel Beach, mackerel mullet, a lot of alliteration there in a row. Salsicha. So I'm not just saying words. That bar brith, Brexel Beach is where she hangs out. She fishes for mackerel and mullet. Then Rowan, salsicha, Italian sausage. Looks like a dried sausage. Rowan has a Worcestershire garden. He lives in Worcestershire. Scoots, you're the worst at saying Worcestershire. Maybe, but he has a beautiful garden. Doesn't change the fact that Rowan's garden's beautiful. 370 grams of polenta. Then we go to Mark with a C. He's using a Cornish kern, which is similar to a Cornish yarg. And I say yarg. That's like one of the, isn't that a setup for a pirate joke or something? But I'm guessing it's also a cheese. It's similar, like he's doing a Cornish themed breads. Also Mark, we see Mark and his daughter baking. And then we see Mark get buttermilk all over. And I don't know, I guess I'll watch because it's about to happen now. I don't think they get it on camera. Okay, he's weighing it. Cornish cream, sea salt. Okay, so what happened, they didn't get it on camera, or they saved him, but he was shaking his buttermilk, his jug of buttermilk, and I don't know if it built up some sort of, aeration, or he shook it. I do that all the time. If I'm shaking something, don't be near me. Any beverages, and I do shake a lot of beverages, so if you listen to that real-time recipe, I'm always shaking my coffee. I like to mix it up and make it a meal. My coffee's a meal sometimes. Okay, where are we? Ermine, 180 grams of salmon and cheese. We see her playing paddleball with her son, also enjoys knitting. And let's see, we got Sura. Her dad is the one who said, try this Zatar spice. He likes it on top. They also have this cool picture of her family with her father and her mother and her siblings, I think, in a tree hanging out. What a great idea for a family picture. I'm a big I used to love climbing trees. Halfway through, dough is lumpy or clumpy. That was my observation, because I never made a soda bread before. Well, I don't know. No, this probably doesn't count. Because, you use soda It's a non-yeast bread for banana bread. But here's the thing with soda bread. You don't want to knead it too much. I mean, come on. That's with everything in life. Otherwise, it'll spurn you, right? I need you too much soda bread. It says, nah, I'm not interested anymore. They say, well, I was going to try to knead you just the right amount, but I couldn't, I guess live and learn once again. Got to set your temperature 200 degrees, maybe 30 minutes. Laura's using a pizza stone. Her husband's called the Pizza King at home. Nana pegs scones have grated marzipan. So just in case, kind of sounds like the mystery of Nana pegs scones. I like one of the mysteries. I don't know if it was Judy, Fancy Nancy, Junie B. Jones, Nana Peg or Nana Pet Reg in the case of Nana Peg scones and the grated marzipan. That could be like in a children's book. That could be also a character, like a magician, grated marzipan. Today performing at the library, grated marzipan. We see Lottie on a beach with fam, savory summertime soda, Peter, ginger beer, green ginger wine. I know there's a lot of song titles in here. Green ginger wine sounds like one too. Soda literally. Oh yeah, he's literally using soda and soda bread. Bicarb, xanthan gum. Paul tries to pay him a compliment. He says, you have a young head, but you're on a different level. Young head on a different level. Bakers half the time. Herbs for Paul. I don't know what that means. Hubris. I don't know if that's hubris. Dave is using a whole nut. He's making a whole nut butter. Somebody, I think Linda. No, not Linda. I don't know. I still don't know everybody's name, but somebody's using Max Honey from Mac left last month for us, but they're using Max Honey. Noel's wearing sunglasses, 10 minutes. He tells Matt to say it louder. And stuff starts to come out of the oven. Stress of bread, 1 minute. There's bread stress, right? Butter. Then you have to assemble your butter. I guess you don't assemble butter, though. Like butter, you first would deconstruct it, and then butter, it assembles itself. Like, it's one of the things butter's famous for. At the right temperature, we reassemble butter. That's one of the things we do. Paul's working on a car. He's working on bread, Paul Hollywood style. It looks like he's needing some other kind of bread other than soda bread in the B-roll. Soda bread in the B-roll. Don't forget to have soda bread in the B-roll. That could have been a production note. Maybe, would be one that would go on a sleep podcast for sure. Also, I noticed, especially with the talent, like, I don't know if it's on purpose, but there's a lot of wind and fans on Noel and Matt. I call them the talent because I think it's another imaginary production note from me. Oh, Mark put Irish stout in the butter. Linda is putting Max butter, honey, somewhere. I don't know if it's going in the butter or not. Black garlic, a little bit like balsamic vinegar. Could be the ticket home. Indistinct chatter, it just said. That's pretty funny. Impressive, a decent. Okay, this is when we get to the time to judge here. Almost time to judge. No need to judge. No, really, like, it's always time to judge. So we have the segment, everybody taking it out of the oven here. They're tapping to make sure it's good. But at that point, maybe you could put it back in. But you don't want it to overcook. Then, Mark's making like tomato sauce, tomato puree on his pizza-esque. Dense with marzipan. We see everybody trying to get theirs ready to go. Are there blueberries in there? Maybe use the blueberries on Paul. Mash. It's Lottie and Matt. Orange zest, thick orange zest being piped. 1 minute left. Eyes wide for Sura. More blending, shaping of the butter. Trying to get the fancy butters, I'd say. Talk about butterboard. They don't need butter boards. We can shape our butter here. Nana Peg, that was the official name. I don't know what I was calling her, but, and then we get to the judging time. Paul and Prue. They go to Mark first. Sausage and stout sodas. Stout one looks impressive. They start cutting slices. Sobrasada, Irish sheep. Okay. It's decent, but you got to hunt for the flavor. Prue likes the top. And the other one, okay, chocolate comes through. It's very good. Chocolate and then the stout. Great loaf. Butter's lovely. That's Mark with a K. Then Laura, Nana Pegs. Yeah, Nana Peg here. Onion and chorizo go well together, but a little underbaked. Pity, though. And then the cherry bread. Can't taste the cherries. Marzipan's delicious. Whacking through, Bruce says. Lovely. Lottie, good crunch. Lovely texture. Great tasting loaf. Okay. Olive always works. Bacon's on the top. It could have been mixed in. Needs more blueberries. Texture's good, though. But, everything's on the plate. Thank you. Peter, they both look great. Gluten-free, eh? Pretty brave. Delicious, but falling to bits, a little bit gluey. This is the ginger one. Like the honey texture. Cake-like, though. Stodgy. Flavors are delicious. Your flavors are spot on normally. Mark with the C. Rustic. Classic. Good. Love it. Nice loaf. Mouthful of everything. Delicious. This other one's a little doughier. Cake-like again. Nice flavor. Not getting into your cranberry, though. A little weak. It needs a bit more than Rowan. Both look if they haven't risen enough. Pretty big lumps of sausage. Let's see. Sausage is okay. Olives are okay, but would have left it in longer. It's wet and heavy. Prue says, it'd be nice if it was lighter, but too much polenta in the other one. Big mistake. Gritty, like a drizzle cake in a sandstorm. Dave, chocolate, chili, and then a cheesy something or other. Risen nicely. Not enough flavor, though. Triple the cheese in that, Dave. Then chocolate, okay, well baked, but two good loaves, but need more flavor. Sura, there goes the tar one first. 160, a little pale. Olives and are delicious, but another one, fruits, apricots, dried cherries, walnuts. Prue thinks that one's delicious, so it's all really, really good, but a higher temperature would have been spot on. Okay, now we got Linda. This is a bar quick. Okay, these are pale. Need longer in the oven. Such a pity because the flavor's low. Stodgy, oh boy, stodgy too. Does have a spicy flavor though. When you push, Paul gives advice, when you push too much fruit in there and then something, then the fruit goes to the outside. Got to be soft or something. Smoked salmon, never heard of that. You invented a bread. Salmon really works, like a sandwich in one. Lovely. Very nice, well-baked. And then the other one's a grown-up fruitcake. A lot of booze. Soaked for a few weeks. Paul's impressed. So impressed. He says they're special, and he does a Hollywood handshake. Shakes her hand. And he says it's very complex flavors. Well done. Then we do talking heads. She's obviously very happy. He says 2021. Sarah's said better than expected. Flavor Queen is back. Rowan, not entirely positive, but I'm determined. Maybe next time I'll think about it more. Then we see some ducks and ducklings, the tent, beautiful trees. Now technical with a twist. What's the twist? It's time for a technical challenge set by Paul. Words of advice, Paul? Yeah, he goes, you need to get your timings with an S right. So that's tricky, right? So, yeah, but what are they going to make? Rainbow-colored bagels, 5 different rainbow-colored doughs, layered-shaped, boiled, baked, shiny, chewy crust, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And your market set bake. What's a rainbow bagel? Most people have never made bagels before. Definitely not any rainbow bagels. It's interesting. And Dave says, I made them before. I didn't say they were good, though. So they're trying to get on with it. Bagel. Most people buy their bagels at a bagel shop. And this is my first time seeing bagels made. Bruce says, Paul, why rainbow? Well, it's a challenge making bagels because you got to boil them and then bake them. And the rainbow is like the NHS. So he says, yeah, it's like representing the NHS right now in 2020. And you got to twist them, I don't know, pat them, mark them with a B, put them in the water and in the oven for pruning me. I don't know. I mean, I guess as someone who lived in New York and whatever I say, rainbow bagels, man, come on. But, I mean, they do look, I mean, they'd be good for a birthday party, but then the kids would be like, these taste like bagels. Like if they're rainbow, they should be cakey. But Bruce says happy bread. Okay. 2 hours, 45 minutes, scant instructions. Got to do it by hand. No stand mixers on this one, which people are like, who needs by hand? By the way, Scoots does, but that's just because I just don't need another mixer. I tried using it, I guess I went back to kneading by hand. I was trying to use a old blender that had a dough setting, but it was too strong. They're talking about catching rainbows, Mark and Noel, bagel challenge, voyage of discovery with these bagels. Colors, you look like a Smurf, nice and vibrant. You got a mix of colors. It's really difficult. And everybody's colors are a bit different. A lot of people aren't wearing gloves, so they get covered in colors. Step 4, rise. That's it. Until it's doubled in size. Prove it, man. 20 minutes? I don't know. How long should we prove it for? Then everybody has to study the instructions and take a break. Rowan says, maybe I'll do some gardening, pruning. Okay, then you start prodding. If you get a slight indent, you're good to go. Maybe. I don't know. That's what they say. Now you got to roll them out. Okay, here's red first. So red is correct color in the Roy G. Biv. They talk about Paul's tan, Noel and Ermine, roll out rectangles 15 by 20. Let's figure out what that is. Half the ruler. Okay, so you stack the colors. Oh, boy, I got to check it. Okay, wait. Oh, no. I think they are doing Roy G. Biv. Yeah, it looks like it. Not seeing the orange. 24 centimeters. It looks like they are following Roy G. Biv for this because it's supposed to be a rainbow, obviously. As they start to roll it, it starts to look like a lollipop you'd buy in a theme park versus a bagel. That's my impression. And some people don't know to roll them. Some people are good at rolling. Some people don't have the knack of it. Linda does. She's like dancing. Lottie's like, I didn't twist my bagels. and then trying to figure out what width and what circumference, roll and twist. Oh boy. So Lottie goes back. Okay, now you're halfway through. Number 10, prove it again, man. Prove it to me again in the proving drawer. Proof in the proving drawer. Was that another fancy Nancy? Proof in the proving drawer. I mean, that was Encyclopedia Brown. And so everybody, final proof is critical. Rowan's juggling. Mark's drinking tea, green tea. Noel says, how about gin? He goes, nah, I don't drink anymore. So Noel says, if I was doing this, I'd be lit the whole time. And I said, I probably wouldn't have got on the show, though. So, okay, now proving's going good for some people. Reckon about ready. Saucepan of water with bicarbonate soda. And who's going to plunge it first? How many are you going to put in? You don't want to overdo it or underdo it. They don't cook long, or do they? Cook until bagel's puffed and set. Chewy, that's what gives its chewy texture, apparently. One kid's doing it 35 to 45 seconds. Some people's are getting huge. There's 30 minutes left. And everybody, Matt and Noel, are making everybody laugh. Some people, yeah, it's like quite the thing, boiling bagels. So, yeah, how's yours looking? I don't know. How's everybody else's looking? I don't know. Are they set? Looks like you could do about 2 at a time. Pretty drastic differences in the colors, though, and the shape as they come out. So, not exactly looking like a bagel shop, but this is most people's first time, so a lot better than I would do. Now you got to put them in the oven and cook them. Bake. No temperature or time, though. 20 maximum? I don't know. Hoping they'll puff up. Hoping they'll smooth out. And then they have 10 minutes left. And everybody's waiting by their ovens, watching, seeing if they're color. Oh, but we can't tell if they're browning because they're rainbowed. So, hoping when they puff up, we see people's water bottles, or I did, at the sides of their workstations with their names on them. Everybody's trying to pass the time. Noel's trying to keep everybody entertained. 5 minutes left. Okay, they're looking good. Linda, how's yours looking? Not too bad. Rowan, mine are, not great. Well done. Sound hollow. Sound, flat as a pancake for Dave. And time's up on this one. Not a bagel, or is it? Or are they overcooked? Everybody's cranking up. But none of them look like a total disaster, I'll be honest. Still, we see a pheasant. Everybody's sitting on their stools waiting for Paul and Prue. They go, I'm not going to be able to remember everybody's name, though, here. So they start off with one, don't know. Those are smooth and light, good size, crispy on the outside, soft, very nice. Another one. Oh, no, this is the same one. Then they go to these hula hoops, flat, big, tastes all right, though. Then Sura's next, Whoppers, round, but colors are nice, good texture and flavor. Dave, flat, overproved, lost all the height, tastes great. Lottie, crunching, shape uniform, overbaked, though. Rowan, issues in the water, not crisp and underbaked. Flavor's okay, fine. Mark with a K, fairly smooth, good flavor. Ermine, a bit tough. Mark with a C. These look like pretzels, but smooth, nice color. But Bruce is a delicious. And then last one, Linda. Nice bread. Okay, so then they say, okay, let's take a look here. Who's going to come in where? Worst to best. Last place is Rowan. Overproved, underbaked. Ninth spot. Dave, overproved, 8-spot. Sura, lovely color, twisting, not good. Wobbly. Ermine, Laura, Lottie, Peter. Third, Mark with a K, not bad. Nice twist. Second place, Mark with a C. Nice bagels, properly risen, man. And then first place is Linda. I get Linda and Laura mixed up, though. But that's Linda. Well done. So they do talking heads. She can't wait to tell her family, tell Richard. Ring him on the phone, yell hooray. Mark's pretty happy because he didn't do so great the last couple weeks, he says. Rowan not feeling great about his place. Sora says, yeah, I could do better. Then we get some flower shots. We get to walking into the tent. So the table talk time. I got to give a handshake out, Paul says. Very clever. New genre of bed. Starbaker, both Marks, Lottie. Is Lottie a swan? I don't know why they talk about that or not. They have macaroons on their table. Rowan not doing great. And Dave's not doing great either. So those are the two. It's going to be a tricky showstopper, Paul says. So Rowan better finish his showstopper. So that's it. Then we get a couple of shots. We get a shot of Rowan and Dave looking worried. And showstopper challenge. A decorative bread plaque, a large one. Harvest Festival sheaf. Your own take on the sheaf, something you're most grateful for. Visually impressive in size, visually powerful, and you got to be able to eat it, which is different. 3 hours, 30 minutes. And Marks gets that bake. So it's different. Most of the time you just shine this thing up. It's inedible, varnished and rock hard. But not this time, man. We got to eat it down, up like a hoppin'. What does that mean? Your hearth, your house, whatever, Paul says. Something elaborate on paper, Bruce says, to design, but you got to make it. Manipulating dough itself, plating, twisting, spiraling. Great challenge. It'll give me an indication of how far they've traveled on their bread journey. So that's interesting. Celebration of thanks. This is Lottie says faffery. I'm pretty sure. I was like, faffery there. Faffery. Faffery. I think it means mucking around. I don't know. Okay, then we see Mark's doing a fennel and coriander Dharma wheel bread sheaf. They say, are you Buddhist? He says, no, I'm not Buddhist, but I relate to the Buddhist philosophy. And he really gives this deep answer that they leave the whole thing in there. And what it means to him and what it meant on his journey. Or maybe they do that later. But okay, we see everybody kneading their breads. We hear about Rural Idol. I think that's from Rowan maybe, or Linda. Oh, no, Linda. Two family favorites, tiger bread, black olive bread. She talks about milking the cows, carrying the buckets to her aunt's kitchen. Rural Idol, they say. Like idyllic, not idle, I-D-L-E, I-D-Y, I-D-Y-L-L or something. And churning milk and stuff. And she says a little piping here while she cries, like she gets tears. A little piping here. And Ron's talking about Worcestershire again, countryside, theater, literature, music, a big part of his life there. So it's a Worcestershire pear tree with different things like on the tree, like that represent what he's grateful for. And Noel's kind of putting the pressure on him. But he says, you got a great boot game, Rowan, man. They both have boots on that look nice. Okay, then Ermine's doing an enriched brioche dough, style dough. You can't make brioche in 3 hours, but she says, I'm going to try to make my version of it. Usually you leave it in the fridge overnight, but she says, I'm going to try to freeze it for 15 minutes each side and then work the butter. So risky, but it's bold, Journey back to France, focaccia, London to Paris, road trip. So, yeah. What else we got? Boot game. I already got that. Proving time, 40, 24. I don't know. One dough down. 15 years, 20 years. I don't know what that is. 40 minutes. People are saying 24 minutes. Need it, man. Process starts again. Talking about, how am I going to do first one 15, second one 20. Juggling multiple doughs wasn't tricky enough. You also got to make your fillings. Some people, not everybody's making fillings. Mango, lime, and chili for Dave. Pancetta, focaccia. Oh, boy. Gruyere, posh ham and cheese sandwich. That's Laura. Show-stopping musical-inspired number. Ends up Paul's never seen a musical in the West End. She's seen 70 shows. She goes, you didn't even see Matt in Les Mis? And she says he was really good. Like one of the best shows I've ever seen. But apparently Paul's never seen a musical. Mark with K is doing Orchard County, which is a county he's been to in Ireland, known for the orchards, obviously, and the fruit trees. Shaping the dough, adding fillings and stuff. That's all part of it. Sura's doing something based on Mama's tomatoes. She would keep a tomato plant in their place. So it must have had a good sunlight. Or, I don't know how much sunlight a tomato plant needs, but she would have it behind the TV growing up the wall and onto the ceiling. And it's one of Sura's positive memories from the day. I'd say I could almost smell the tomato plant, if you've been around tomato plants and the sticky, smells good. Then Dave is working on his house, laid back, far-flung faves or something, far-flung flavors. See, right now we got Mark with a K working on some hazelnut, Somerset cheddar, Spanish chorizo. That's Lottie. That looks pretty good, too. Incorporated dough. Rowan pre-warmed his pears because he didn't want to cool the dough down. Smart move there. One of my trademarks. Got to shape your canvas here. So that's what Sura's doing. Mama tomato vine harvest loaf, sun-dried tomato and feta, olive bread sounds nice too. She looks like she's buttering it up too. And, it looks like a plaque. So I guess job done. Very thankful for her mom. Okay, Dave's making a bread plaque of his house with the family, his future family out front, or his family and mom. He's about to be a dad. And he says, I'm going to be laid back, baking, DIY, driving, his Hampshire home, hibiscus and guava, mango and chili. Those are the two different breads. You're doing a shed. What about a driveway? No driveway. Recycling bins. What about a deck? Matt, no. Stop with questions. Solar panels. No. Matt talks about wearing a solar panel. Dave's not the only baker doing a house. No humble abode. Lottie's doing her beach house with her family. My house and bread. Pesto bread, sun-dried tomatoes and something. Well, I'd like a sun-dried and tomato bread. Lottie and Dave talking about that. Bizarre operation. Peter's making a cityscape, Edinburgh. He designed it himself. He's making a bagel bread. He's making bagel dough so he can make precise cuts for his backdrop. So bagel bread, poppy seeds, and something else. He did, I did bagel practice yesterday, so why not? He says, yeah, I'm going to try to make it a little bit lighter, though. But time's going fast. Crack on, they say. Trunk of a tree for Rowan going in the oven. Paul says, will Rowan get done in time? Crack on, man. Bruce says, I hope he finishes. So he's working on his leaves. The brioche, they say brioche in 3.5 hours. That's tricky. But she's got a French background, so she's proving her brioche. And everybody's done a lot of people are done proving. They're checking their breads, checking it twice, rolling it out, seeing if the bread's going to be nice. Different bread shaping techniques, twists, plates, flavors, facts, frozen apple puree. I know, he's like wrapping it in there. That's a mark with a K. Somebody's doing a triple braid. Some people are doing, I don't know what the difference is if it's like a rope or if it's like a flat piece of like weaving. But yeah, they're all coming together pretty nice. Rowan's got nice leaves, and then he's going to like color his, I know what you call that, painting it. Tomatoes and feta. That's Sura's red egg wash. And glitter. That's what Linda or Laura. Now's when she's talking about how good 5 times she saw Les Mis. And so Matt's really good at that. Baking, because stuff starts coming out of the oven, twisting, baking, shaping. Because, like, you have to make it all, like, and then bake it all, I think. I don't know. I mean, or bake some of it and then make it and then bake it again. Beetroot powder, Stacy's furlough, that's Dave's wife, and everything going in. Be good to me, Mr. Bread, is said by somebody. Everybody's trying not to drop it. 35, all right, I'll try it. And multiple people are dancing. We're going to have 4 minutes to be spare. Mark with a case trying to get his in. Matt does his American accent, which is pretty good and funny. Oh, crumbs, better put it in there. Let's get on with some baking. Everybody's laughing because they got theirs in with 30 minutes. Hermine's like, isn't proved right to the level she wants it to be. Linda's cleaning up, or Laura's cleaning up. Linda. A lot of people are just watching the bread, arms crossed, obviously, because big moments. Thinking about, then this is like another time when Mark talks about Buddhist philosophy. He just lays out this wisdom of what we don't have control over. Easier said than done. Paul Hollywood wants his bread, so get baking or quaking. Goodness saking. Linda's pretty funny. She's pretending to kick her oven, goofing around, and stuff's coming out. Hopefully it's baked. Some sounds hollow. Trimming, making some trims, painting. Yeah, trying to give us some makeup even. 1 minute left. People are trying to cool it. Too big. Can I make it work? Carefully, slowly. Stuff's coming out like right at the last second for some people. Time is up. Step away from your bread. I don't know, like between the editing and the timing, what happens, Rowan's staring at his looks good. It looks attractive. Dave's does not look good. I mean, I'm just being honest. At least what I just saw. Okay, so Hermines goes first, and they look at it and say, okay, a bit abstract. Driving through vineyards, farmer's field, maybe tractor. Okay. I see. Losing some definition, though, but overall looks good. Start with the frame. That's the brioche. Okay, and then the focaccia. Brioche does not hold much flavor, because of the timing. but it's an enriched bread. The focaccia is lovely and springy. And they like it very, very good, they say. Sura, tomato vine, dramatic and effective. Plate on the outside effect is good. Interlacing the two breads, texture's good. Beautifully seasoned. Tomato bread's nice zing. The structure, though, Paul's impressed with the air bubbles. All the way down, nice loaf. Then the feta or tomato balls are good. So delicious. She says, can I go? They say, yeah. Then Laura, musical theater showstopper, like the curtains and the gilded tassels, simple but effective. Focaccia-based pancetta and cheese. Prue was like, holy cow, that's a punch. Ingredient choice is good. Very, very light dough. But it feels a little raw on the edge, but it's a really nice bread. Chili bread has a kick to it, full of flavor, just the textures. Peter's, they say simple, but sort of effective, but you could have done more. And flavors are coming from the seeds and the dry herbs. Tastes nice, tastes neat, but dense and tough. And this bagel's more of a pita. Bread shouldn't do that. It's like a piece of leather. Oh, Peter, man. Lottie, the design's pretty good. Kept some definition. And they cut out a piece. Okay, bread's well risen, lacks flavor, though. But the tomato and paprika and chorizo one packs a punch. Nice balance. Could have done more with the other bread, though. Linda, fruits of our labor, like the design in the cow. She says, we drank milk straight from the cow. And Noel says, from the udders. And she goes, no, Noel. No tiger bread topping. I don't know what that is, but it's supposed to be crackling or whatever. It's dense, needs more olives, more proving, more flavor. Mark with a K, interesting, a little bit bulky. Plating's a little bit irregular, thick then thin. And they cut it, Paul tasted, not bad actually. Light crust, wetter in the mouth than you want though. Flavor's not strong. Should be getting more of a kick from your garlic. Apple, cinnamon. Okay, well, I don't know. Bit basic. Now they got Mark with a C. Well, this looks really surprising. Pretty colorful, neat. If you dig around the edges, it's a bit weak on the plating in a couple places where it ripped in the oven. But the center is gorgeous and clever. Intricate. Looks like nice bread. And Prue takes a flavor of the brown bread's not bad. A little more salt, fennel, nice one. Really good job. Smells good, tastes good, Prue says. Well done. Thank you. Now Dave's house. They say, you're, because he put people on there. He says, yeah, that's interesting. You look interesting there, Paul, or Dave. Paul wanted brickwork instead of plating, but I don't buy that. I think he would have, like Curtis says, either way. You get the mango and the chili. I like the flavor. Never had something like that, but bread's too dry. Overbaked. Guava flavor drops. Never met guava flavor, Prue says. And never had an essence of guava. Can't even taste it, though. Ideas are unique, though. Just baking was off. Fair enough. Then we got Rowan. He needs a hand carrying us up because it's so big. Is it going to fit? Let's hope so. And they said, well, it looks attractive. Looks great, Rowan. Very big. Worcestershire blue cheese and pears. Local cider. And he says, okay, Bruce says, I get the cider. Where's the blue cheese, though? Pressed it in? Oh, you pressed it in. That's no. You got to mix it in. And more proving. Paul's really on him, man. All style, no substance. Bland bread. Chestnut and walnut. Paul goes, to walnuts, you need a lot more, man. Pity, because it's a nicer bread. And the earthy one, truffle, could do with more salt, though. So and he goes, all style, no substance, that's me. Okay, well, I'd rather have style anyway. So he's let down. He's got a beautiful vest on, though. Dave's a little bit worried, too. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go home. Sura's like, okay, I get my parents. It's nice to hear from them. Mark with the C's happy. I feel good. So I don't know what'll happen. We see a bird and a tree. Then we zoom on the tent table talk. Matt, okay, not bad. What do you think? Well, some bread weeks are good, some bread weeks are bad, but if you're not confident, it shows. Sura Markey worked with confidence, right textures, right flavors, right look. So those two are up. And Ermine, her Showstopper, Paul didn't like it. And at the bottom, David and Rowan. But his Showstopper looked good, Mark says. Matt, sorry, Matt. How much flavor does bread really need? Paul makes a face. You crossed a line there. Okay, sun's going down. Everybody's in the tent waiting. Mark, Rowan, Sura's faces we get to see. Matt says, long couple days. When you start Baker? And that person is Mark E. So Mark's happy. It doesn't say today's start. So a little bit different approach. Noel says, my job is to send somebody home. The person who's leaving is Dave breathes out. Then we go to Rowan, who's impassive. We even go to the other kid. Then we go to Dave, who gulps. Rowan. He says, that's fine. These boots are made for walking. Noel says, I feel content. I had a wonderful time. Exhausting, rewarding. So hugs go around. And us all pleased because style, no substance is on my CV anyway. Rowan's a character. Proust's sorry to see him go. Imaginative, ambitious, and thoughtful about his baking. Delivered a Showstopper, impressive to look at, but didn't taste good. So they give hugs goodbye, ecstatic for Mark. Marco said, did I get Star Baker? I did. Then what throws me off is like we see his family's there. I don't know if it's afterwards or at this time. First Paul says, that was good. A Showstopper, his dough rose up. His whole Buddhist ethos worked for him. Yeah, then his daughter and his wife, they come out of nowhere to hug him. Or maybe it's his two daughters. I can't quite see. Yes, his two daughters. So he goes, I'm emotional now. And he tears up. It's a nice moment. And then the episode comes to a close. So good night, everybody. I hope you're in bed without bread. Yeah, good night and sleep well. Everybody, this is Scoots with a Tuck You In message from someone who supports the show. And here's what it comes down to. If you're listening to me right now, do you listen to Sleep With Me on a regular basis? If the answer is no, don't worry about anything I'm going to say after this. Can you afford to support the show back at like $10, 27, 10, $20 a month? If it's no, or if you don't have something like a subscription, you say, do I even use that? And that costs like $10 a month. I could be giving that to Sleep With Me. That makes my life better. But that's all it comes down to. Like, do you listen to Sleep With Me on a regular basis? Do you listen all night? If you listen all night, it can't be more critical that I get your attention. But yeah, if you listen to 2, 3, 4 episodes a week, like 10 episodes a month, the podcast actually makes your life better, and you count on the podcast. I got to tell you, we count on you to support the show back. If you count on the podcast, people that just like listen casually, count on the podcast like you do. And those are the people we need to support. We need to support the show back. We count on them. We count on listeners like you. So I'm going to read something from somebody that counts on the podcast and that supports the show back. But yeah, if all that is true, if Sleep With Me makes your life better, help us keep making your life better and support the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And this is Natalie from Ireland. I've been a supporter since 2017 or 18. I don't even remember how long it's been. I chose to support Sleep With Me because Scooter helped take my mind off the day's stressors. And something spoke to me about the creativity of the show. And I felt as a working artist, Scoot's art should be supported so others can listen when they may need something to take their mind off of whatever they're feeling. So thank you, Natalie, for supporting the show. And I really appreciate it if you relate to what Natalie said. Think about supporting the show back at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus.